Thank you for participating. Can't see you. We don't need to see you, but it would be good to see you. But hey, Miss M, how you doing? Oh, wow. Folks, we're going to thank for being on time. For those who are here at exactly 6:30, we're going to wait another 2 to 5 minutes just to let people get into the room comfortably. This is our new way of doing things, so appreciate you being on time. Maybe we can play some soothing music. Adele, maybe? Can we get some soothing music going for folks?
I'm on it. 1 second.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Or you can listen to me. I have a soothing voice, I've been told. No, I really don't, so I don't want to put you through that torture. So you don't want to hear me. You definitely don't want to hear me. Yeah, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that to you.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is like.
You want to hear me, Abiola? Is that what you said? You do, Warren? Oh, Alana, how are you doing? It's been forever. Hello. Thanks for being on time. So again, we're gonna another, let's say, let's call it another 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. John, how are you doing? Nice meeting you. We spoke earlier. I see you. E37963. How are you? I'm not sure your name, but how are you? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. You're on mute, so I think you said you're fine. I'm reading your lips. I've been a good lip reader these days on Zoom. It's forced me to read lips. Hello, Jody. How are you doing? We've never met, but I'm saying hi like we met before. I'm just letting people know in the audience. I look in backgrounds, not to eavesdrop, but to get ideas. Maybe it is part of eavesdropping. But get ideas what I can put in my home. So I'm seeing some beautiful pictures and ambiance. No, I can't see everybody. It's just me. Hold on. I gotta go back to gallery mode. Hold on 1 sec. There we are. Now I can see people's backgrounds. Nice pictures, and I'm waiting. I'm stalling if you haven't noticed. I'm just stalling for that music. So oh, I'm a good staller. You didn't even see it. You wouldn't have known if I didn't tell you. You wouldn't have known. See what happens when I spill the beans. So we are going to start officially in 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. Just going to wait a couple more people to join. We had a good registration, count. So we're looking to see. Oh, here's more people. More people. People are good. That's a good thing. Yes, people are good. And I trust everyone's well. During this ongoing pandemic, be safe, and it's important to be safe. And call people, check in with people, it's important. Robert Kopp, that is original. That there is original. Robert Kopp, RoboCop, Robert Kopp, no? No RoboCop fans? No? It's my time. It was in my time. Oh, Jamal, hello, how are you? Oh, Robert Kopp is his real name. Interesting. I wasn't making fun. I was just saying Robert Kopp, RoboCop. But pleasure to meet you, Robert. All right, Jamal. It's been too long. How are things? Don't mind me, folks. I'm stalling. Well, you're on mute. It's okay. I'm stalling. I'm here just having a great conversation. Some people are replying. Some people are not. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. We got music? Am I drowning out the music with my voice? Okay, sorry. Let me stop. Let's let the music play. Oh, more people. All right. Excellent. 3 more people. Oh my goodness. Look at this. People are just joining. They're just eager to see what we've created here. Wow. This is amazing. All right. Well, let's start now. Why not? Let's do this. So, good evening. Thank you for being on time. Really appreciate it. My name is Warren Clark, and this is the presentation that everyone has been waiting for, the collaboration between the Ottawa Catholic School Board, OCSB, and Carleton University. So before we start, I would like to acknowledge that we are unceded Algonquin territory. This is going to be our land acknowledgement and pay homage to the land we situate ourselves on tonight. So this is a unique performance that has been going on for the last 3 years. Some of you know about this project, and some of you are new. And I'm going to take a moment to explain this project. I'm also going to go through our itinerary, which we did not email to you, but we're going to explain to you before we get into the festivities this evening. One of the things I want to, the key theme that I want to acknowledge and promote to today's event is positivity and bring the energy. Okay. Now there's a reason for that, folks. This project is normally done on stage and not over Zoom. Okay. So the high school students and the university students put a lot of work in to get us to this point. So we are going to give you a presentation that's going to be not only fantastic, but the only way it's going to be fantastic if you participate. What do I mean by that? Well, cheer them on, clap, give thumbs up, give the emojis, all right? Smile, all right? Participate in the question and answer period because it's going to be a learning for everyone, okay? Also, we're going to have a feature or a special presentation from Jamal the poet, who's going to grace us with beautiful poetry. I've heard him live many of times, and I guarantee you will enjoy what he brings to the stage or to Zoom, as a matter of fact, okay? So tonight's performances are the final outcomes of this wonderfully exciting partnership between two facilitators, Graham Mastersmith. Thank you, Graham, for taking a chance on this project, and myself, Warren Clark, as I mentioned earlier. Two educational institutions, Carleton University and or the school board, OCSB, as I mentioned, and two student bodies, all of whom seek to eliminate social inequalities in order to empower positive change. We thank you for joining us on this journey and for being here to support the participants and their work. Let us all endeavor to do more than be a witness to injustice. Let us pledge to engage in allyship and to have the courageous conversations needed to finally end acts of oppression rooted in racism, sexism, genderism, ageism, and all the other harmful isms. Together, like-minded people can and will change the world. There are trigger warnings that we want to acknowledge with the audience. The play contains a mature subject matter. It may not be suitable, or may be suitable, or may not be suitable for 13 years or younger, but this is a family-friendly event. But we just want to make sure that we set the tone appropriately, because we are talking about potential real-life concerns that impact people of different social intersections and characteristics. Please be advised that some of the content may potentially be offensive, challenging, or upsetting. But it is meant to work through these challenging and upsetting moments to get comfortable with one another so we can address social oppression as we go on. Want to big a huge thanks to the Ottawa Catholic School Board for taking a chance with us this semester. Also a huge thanks for Carleton University for the last 3 years for taking a chance on me and allowing me to run a project like this with two group student bodies, Carleton University students, and also these two school boards I've been able to work with. Also want to give a special thanks and shout out to Troy Crossfield, who's a Toronto area actor, director, and producer, who've been helping with the logistics and the training and the facilitating of this project since the inception of this great project we are doing. And not last but not least, Jamal the poet, who's going to be gracing us with a poetry some poetry from him. The itinerary, we guarantee guarantee a 2-hour event. What does that mean? No, we're not going to stretch it past 8:30. Okay, we promise you. Okay, so we're going to give you an efficient event presentation that is going to be thought-provoking, but we also want it to be enjoyable, which is important for your knowledge exchange. We will be having a question and answer period at certain points of the presentation. And with that, and once we do that, I'll talk more about that after our first, poetry from Jamal in a moment. We want people to engage, and we want to have a fruitful conversation up to 10 to 15 minutes each time we do it. and I'll be your moderator throughout. Other than that, please enjoy some poetry from Jamal the Poet. Round of applause.
Greetings, greetings. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's an honor to be amongst so many like-minded individuals, light workers out here who are, trying to find a way to bring attention to really important topics. I admire and I commend the work that you do, using some of your time and energy, your youthful energy, to find ways to communicate the injustices and to bring awareness around injustices, especially for racialized, marginalized individuals, is a lot of work. It's a burden and a cross, that people bear, and it's not easy work. So hats off to you. Show yourself some love. If you're like me and you don't oftentimes take time to show yourself some love for you stepping out and showing up and showing out, show yourself some love. Give yourself a pat on the back. Feel good about the work that you do. I'm going to share an excerpt of a poem that I wrote last year. But before I do, I want to say something really quick. There's an article out. First of all, actually, no. So thank you to the OCSB, and thank you to Carleton University. Thank you to Warren Clark, and thank you to Graham for having me and agreeing to have some poetry involved. There's an article that I read about 2 years ago, maybe it was a year ago, and it's backed by research and science. The article states that teachers, educators in school systems around the world, white educators in school systems around the world, they have a bias towards children as young as 3 who are of the melanated or who are Black, who consider themselves or identify as Black. They have a bias against children who are in preschool. And what they did was they took, one of those things that can track where your eyes move, one of those devices, and they tracked teachers' movements, eye movements, but also they tracked their daily interactions with young Black children, preschool, not even in full-fledged school yet, and how they respond to young Black children being in their presence in a classroom with a wide variety of other children. And in some cases, the Black children were the more prominent population in the class. And from their brain patterns and how their eyes moved and how they responded vocally, the science says that they considered the Black child as problematic. They looked at the Black child as the one who was about to do something wrong, even though in every single case they did, the Black child never ended up doing anything wrong. But the white teacher anticipated that a Black child was going to do something wrong when something triggered them to look over in the direction where the Black child is. They anticipated that they had, and so their hormones changed. But when white children were doing the same actions, the white teachers, there was no reaction. They didn't look over to the area where the white children were playing. They didn't call out the white child. Their hormones and stress levels and some of those cortisol and what did not change at all. It was only when the Black child. And what did that tell me? Well, first of all, it angered me. But it's a truth that I always knew because I lived it. And I don't remember all the way back to when I was 3 years old, but I remember long enough to know that that type of bias, it exists in schools all over the world, especially in the schools where it's, white infrastructure and white educators. And it tells you that if that's happening to 3-year-old Black children, this is science backed by not Black researchers. These are white researchers at reputable institutions, educational institutions around the world created this research. It tells you that if Black people are subjugated to that type of negativity and bias from 3 in the school system, how do you think we are dealt with when we're preteens, teens, adults? If that's happening from the time we're 3 years old, how do you think people in positions of justice and authority, white people in positions of justice and authority, not everybody, okay? Not using a Black statement, look at us and react to us when they have to interact with us. And that's been happening since we were 3. And that is prevalent within school boards and systems around the world. This is why when we hear about a George Floyd, okay, when we hear about, rest in peace, Queen Taylor, right, and we hear about these deaths, we know that it's not just a one-time incident. We know that it's part of a bigger problem that's systemic. And so for anybody who's in here who has a hard time telling people and educating people about the systemic injustices that people of color and Black people face, refer them to this article. Let them know that it starts as early as 3 years old for us. This poem is called We Are Angry, and it's an excerpt from a poem. I'll share more of it in the break, but I want to start you off like this, with this piece. Dear Black child of fantasy, why do you react so drastically? When it's the struggle that makes you fly, the struggle that brought you here, the struggle that makes you try, the struggle that makes you die before you arrive at the feet of Uncle Sam's plantation, sad and lonely, grieving beyond belief, losing your faith tomorrow before you earned your courage today. How do we demonstrate loyalty, loyalty, loyalty to the birthright of our emotions? No more deceiving deeper meanings. Breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. I want to, but I am afraid. And I am worried that we are always afraid. Scared of change. We have become the very same sand beaten by the ocean waves, rock solid in our ways and defending our prison caves. Imagination turned gray because we refuse to harness the positive surge from negative rays. Modern day spirituality just ain't rolling out the red carpet for everyone anymore. So we can't experientially articulate the radical joy of cutting that red tape, the irony of being intimidated by the world's only constant, arrogant bastard. The cause of our anger makes us live a life orphaned by going against the very grain of our existence. It's persistent. The rage against the wage of our heart's privilege. Love is free, but was never free. We always had to work for it, hurt for it, support the cause like a Rasta that says, if worse comes to worse, I'll eat pork for it. Wear your faith on your sleeve, tangle it like a kitten twine in twain, or an infant with a chain. Let the disease of anti-Black racism dissolve into fast-acting anger you'll trade for pain. Seal the deal, accept the meal, bacon, sausage, ham hocks and all. Let the doggone clouds retract the blood-stained carpet. Our anger, no longer the soundtrack for the backseat driver subletting the storage space in the basement. Wash it with prayer, rinse it with patience, drain it with a rigorous filtration system, one that is purpose for interrogation, to produce a mood where you exude more gratitude and excuse less self-hatred. My Black people, laugh it up like a butler with hands of butter who thinks he works in an insane asylum. Remind yourself that your mind, your Black brilliant mind, is the most intelligent institute in the known universe. It cannot be caged. Breathe a sigh of this is something we simply needed to get off our chest, whether you like it or not. And while we watch wet molecules from our mouths form soluble compounds and scatter into confetti-filled fields, evaporate your truth into the atmosphere as if atoms were the event coordinators of parties in stormy skies. Take your tear of tears to the highest heights until the degree of madness can no longer be contained. Unleash your howling anger into a fit of hysterics. Unlearn all laws that bound us up and tricked us into thinking that our magic could ever be bound by physics. Brace yourself, and for the love of everything beautiful in you, let your Blackness shine. Let your Blackness shine. Let it shine like sun rays that drive the pavement after days of heavy rain, so that when the clouds part on your beautiful smile again, only the existence of your brilliance remains. That poem was written after George Floyd was arrested and the world saw what went down. That piece is called We Are Angry, and it's a piece that speaks to the post-traumatic stress that Black communities face, but also how we are always told that we can't get too angry because of the injustices that are happening to us, and how our anger is downplayed. So take it away, everybody else. Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll get to exchange with you during the break. Peace.
Thank you, thank you. Please know Jamal will reprise his poetry midway through. Yes, he will be back. So instead of listening to Warren, we have a gentleman who would like to share some words. His name is Graham Mastersmith. Let's welcome him. Thank you. You're on mute, Graham. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Is that good? Can you hear me now?
There we are.
Okay.
There's Graham.
Thanks. Just good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Graham Mastersmith. I am the 7 to 12 arts consultant with the Ottawa Catholic School Board. I just want to say I'm honored to be part of this evening and this presentation in partnership with Carleton U. I must admit, way long ago in the fall when Warren approached me about this collaboration, I was a bit reluctant and nervous, just given the times we're in, to try to put together an online play. Seemed kind of daunting. I also was uncomfortable and worried about the subject matter. Putting on a production centering around race and oppression and gender and sexuality are uncomfortable topics for me and things I haven't really had to address in my life. However, after many meetings and rehearsals over the last month, I can honestly say the involvement and partnership in this production has been eye-opening and life-changing for me as a person and an educator. And just has been so powerful. One of the most powerful sessions I attended was early on in the script writing process when our young Black students started to share their personal accounts of racism. In some cases, as Jamal just talked about, starting as early as kindergarten and elementary school. That really hit me. It was at that point I realized there's so much that still needs to be done in the education system and society to eradicate all forms of social oppression. The plays you're about to watch this evening are a small step, but essential step in the right direction, as they empower student voice, which I think is so important, and they get you thinking and hopefully acting to end discrimination, ensure equality and inclusion of all people, regardless of race, gender, and sexuality. I think that these plays have been awesome to be involved in, and I'm going to let Warren explain a little bit more about the philosophy behind them before we actually start the productions.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And Graham, thank you for taking a chance. Really appreciate you. This has been awesome. So this project started 3 years ago, and I won't be too long. It won't be long-winded. If you want the longer version, please call me. I'll give it to you. But it started off with a dream, and it started off with I guess hope. And people taking a chance on me and taking a chance on the students to put this thing together. And we've seen some great things. We started this project with the notion of Augusto Boal's Theater of the Oppressed, where we would have these stage plays between two groups of students. At the first few rounds, it was Carleton with OCDSB students addressing the same topics we're going to address today. But one thing that was unique about those plays was that these students were able to use improv through the Augusto Boal's Theater of the Oppressed, where we were teaching people on stage how to be anti-oppressive. And the most important thing about those plays is that the young people were able to use their voice in a very unique way, which is something you're going to witness tonight. The relevance of the relationship between a university, Carleton University, and a school board, OCSB in this case, this round or semester, it provides hope for a lot of young people to see the relevance in going to post-secondary education. One of the things that Jamal touched on is anti-Black racism starts at a young age. And one of the things that is true is that there's, and we're working at it, and in the post-secondary spaces, is that there's not enough representation of African descent or racialized bodies as professors. One of the things that brings a lot of students, particularly racialized and African descent students in this course, is seeing representation. I don't say this to toot or brag, but It is it's a what's the term? A breath of fresh air for a lot of racialized students to be in company with a racialized professor, and it gives them hope to see that they too can go on to post-secondary education. That's what I trust, and I've been seeing it happen. We've seen many of high school students move on to Carleton, going into criminology, sociology, and also anthropology. Mind you, I'm an anthropologist, so that really warms my heart. So there is much relevance, and as Graham mentioned, there's much more work to be done. You being here tonight allows us to go in the right steps forward to continue the most important work, which is dispel all forms of oppression. Tonight, we'll be discussing we'll be paying attention to how these groups discuss anti-oppression and anti-racism frameworks through theatrical performances. We ask that we, again, cheer on these young people and also engage with the question and answer period once the time arises. The discussion and answer period will take place at 3 points of the performance or the event tonight. It'll take place at the end of each performance. The moderator, or not a narrator, will be asking the audience two to three questions. And then each segment will go for about 10 to 15 minutes to respond. We ask people to engage positively in a do no harm approach. We ask people to learn, but also share. And if we need to be vulnerable, let's respect people's vulnerability to create that relationship of solidarity to continue an anti-oppression, anti-racism framework. We ask that you put yourself on speaker view on your Zoom options. Adele, who will be working with us, she'll be helping putting people on speaker view. But that's how you're going to really embrace these plays as they're being produced. We do have the description of plays, which we're going to get our students to describe to you. The first one is Two Sides of a Coin, and Shayla will be discussing or giving you the description of Two Sides of a Coin. Shayla, please. There you are. You're on mute.
Perfect, there you go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Shayla, and I'm a Carleton student, and I'll be introducing the play, Two Sides of the Same Coin. Two Sides of the Same Coin is based on how Sapphire, a Black woman's shopping experience, differs from Susan, who's a white woman. And our goal is to address what shopping feels like for Black women.
Oh, there you are.
So Code 55 basically focuses on discrimination and stereotyping as a role reversal in which a white woman is oppressed rather than a Black woman. And this will allow the audience to experience a different perspective while shopping in a local store. It also highlights the deeply embedded historical oppression that occurs within society. Code 55 aims to provide insight into how discrimination makes racialized people feel in social settings.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. And the last play is Mr. D's Gym Class. Cassie, please. You're on mute.
There we go. Sorry, it wouldn't let me mute. Hi, everyone. So it's 7 o'clock. Sorry about that. I'll be talking for Mr. D's gym class. So today is the start of fitness testing week in Mr. D's 9th grade gym class. Sam is a non-binary student and discovers that the class will be split up by boys and girls. Here we watch as the class fights over Sam and where they should go, and we learn about the implications of living as a binary identity or a non-binary identity in a binary world. Throughout the scene, viewers will have the option to choose their own adventure about how the class is going to learn about Sam's experiences, and we're going to be using Zoom reactions to decide.
All right, thank you very much. So those are our plays. The first play will be two sides of the same coin, or two sides of a coin, sorry. And there will be a question and answer period following that. So please, ladies and gentlemen, folks of all ages, welcome. Two sides of a coin, round of applause.
In a high-end white person-dominated store where shoes, clothes, and accessories are sold, the long-awaited annual clearance sale has arrived. With Easter around the corner, the store is destined to make their target, and the employees are ready to serve.
In walks Susan. She has an upcoming work gathering and is hoping that the dress and shoes she's been wanting have been marked down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today? Love your hair.
I'm great, and thank you. I'm trying a new style.
It's definitely working. What brings you into the store today?
Okay, this blue dress, these shoes, and your annual sale.
Perfect. I know exactly what you're looking for. Follow me. Those shoes would look so cute on you and match that dress perfectly.
As Susan and Maritu are having their conversation and picking out the dress, another customer walks in.
This is Sapphire. She's looking for an outfit for her friend's birthday dinner.
Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I'm actually finding it hard to find stuff around the store. So would there be someone to please assist me?
Just a second, miss. I'm with someone right now. So what size do you need for those shoes? We've had other styles brought in yesterday that I think you must see.
But I was just asking for help right now. Oh my God. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to look around myself.
Sapphire begins searching through her purse for her phone.
Oh, that purse is one of our latest brands. Are you interested in buying it?
Oh, are you talking about this purse? But this one is actually mine.
It's yours?
Yes, it is. Why do you seem so surprised?
It just looks so brand new.
Oh my God. Well, anyway, since you're already here, I actually need help getting this shirt.
All right, what size do you need?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you. Can you please repeat that again?
What size do you need?
Oh, okay. My bad. I apologize, but I actually need size.
I'm just gonna stop you right there. I work in accessories, but I'll have someone in clothing come help you instead.
Erica walked away to find someone to help Sapphire.
Let's see how Susan and Maritu are doing compared to Sapphire. Susan seems to be having a great time. This illustrates how there are two sides of the same coin and how different each of these women's experiences is different despite shopping in the same store.
I don't think this is the right size. Can I have a different one?
Yeah, of course. What size do you want? You know what? I'll get you a size 8 and 9 and we'll go from there.
Oh, what a great idea. Thank you so much. You're so helpful.
Erica approaches Daniela.
Hey, Daniela, come here. There's a black one over there who needs help with the shirt, and it's definitely a code 55 situation.
Is that the person you called code 55 on? Wait, what even is a code 55?
Code 55 is a code we call when there's someone in the store that we think's suspicious and most likely gonna steal.
So you think the black woman looks sketchy? Why?
I don't know, like it was just a feeling. She had this expensive purse, was acting super weird, was touching all these things for no apparent reason. I don't even think she knows how to speak English properly. And the hair store down the street, Cloud9, has blocking up their sections of black hair products, and they definitely have a reason for it.
First of all of our customers touch items when they shop, just like Susan did. It's not weird, and you didn't suspect Susan for that because it's part of the shopping experience. Also, Cloud9, they locked up their black hair products, not the white ones, which shows you how biased they are.
You viewed it as a bias, I viewed it as a solution. They're just trying to help their business.
Daniela's annoyed by Erica and goes to help Sapphire.
Hi, I'm Daniela. I was told you need help grabbing a size.
Sapphire is already feeling hesitant to stay in the store, but she was really wanting that shirt.
Oh, hi, Daniela. I'm Sapphire. So, I didn't really get any help, so I found the shirt on my own, but I just need to purchase right now.
That's a beautiful name. Really nice top. I like your choice. The occasion?
With the friendliness from Daniela, Sapphire begins to feel hopeful again and at ease.
Oh, it's for my friend's birthday party.
Birthday party? That sounds like fun. I'll buy it when I finish wrapping this up.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and I absolutely love your purse. I was thinking of getting one just like it.
Daniela managed to turn Sapphire's shopping experience around and decided to approach Erica. Unlike Erica, Daniela treated Sapphire with the respect she deserves as a customer and did not judge her based on the color of her skin and appearance.
Hey, Erica, can we talk for a second?
Yeah, what's up?
I just finished helping out Sapphire.
Who's Sapphire?
The customer you called code 55 on.
Oh, what about her?
Well, for starters, her English was perfectly fine. She wasn't suspicious at all. All she needed was a size for a shirt that she was gonna wear at her friend's birthday dinner. This makes me feel like you just thought she was sketchy just because she was black.
Erica starts to feel ashamed.
I was just doing my job.
Your job is to make sure that customers feel welcome and not threatened just because of your assumptions. When I went to go help her, she looked really sad and anxious. Did you even think about how she was going to feel?
I didn't think I was doing anything wrong at the time, but now that you're bringing this to my attention, I guess I did disregard her feelings.
Well, let this be a learning experience. But the next time you treat someone like this, I'll have to call management.
Erica and Daniela make peace, and Erica recognizes her mistake and will reflect on this situation to make sure she doesn't let it happen in the future.
The purpose of this storyline is to portray racial discrimination towards Black people. In this particular scene, you see it illustrated through Sapphire, a Black woman innocently shopping for an event. The take-home message from this is, one cannot assume a person's personality and behavior based on the color of their skin and treat them differently.
And it is important to take the opportunity to stand up for someone being discriminated against or racialized and educate the offender. It is through education in which we can address the issue of ignorance when it comes to racism.
Based off what you just saw, we have a few questions for you before we finish. And the first question is, when have you noticed discrimination taking place and what did you do?
Now, folks, everybody is now unmuted. Sorry about that. Again, the technical difficulties. Now, we ask people to engage with these questions, and we will allow for 10 minutes of question answer period. And comments, too. Thank you. I'm blaming COVID, by the way, because this didn't happen in the live performances. This is COVID's fault. Can you repeat the question one more time, Sheila, please? Thank you.
Yeah, the first question is, when have you noticed discrimination taking place and what did you do?
It's open to anybody who would like to respond.
I can answer. I feel like when I reflect on like my education system, like through elementary school and high school, my teachers always taught us to be to stand up, so not just be a bystander and watch when discrimination is happening. So I went to an art school, and I had a few friends who were queer, and a lot of people may have bullied them. So like it was just normal to like step in and be like, hey, don't treat a person that way. So that's just like from my experience, but a lot of the times like you just got to step in and just like de-escalate the situation.
Totally, I agree with you. And I feel like most of the times for especially young people, like you get scared to like step in and do something about it because you're like, oh, it's not my business. It doesn't concern me. What can I do? But there's always something you can do. You can, you know, help the person, support, because I believe that when you stay quiet, you're kind of part of the problem because you're helping the situation to keep going. And if anybody has anything else to add, we can go on or we can go to the next question.
I just wanted to say that sometimes you have to choose like what approach works for you, and you could call out basically in the moment, but sometimes some people are not comfortable calling out because it looks a little bit more confrontational. But if you have that personality where you're not comfortable, then there's that other option of calling in, and where you maybe pick another time in the quiet, speak to that person about their behavior. Usually calling in is more, allows you more to educate the offender, especially, it's a good method if you want to educate. Then the last thing I just wanted to say is that again, it depends on how I feel. Some days I just pick my battles. I don't want to address it, but I try as much as possible to make it an educational moment. But saying that, it's not our responsibility to constantly educate people. I think there's room for people to also educate themselves along those lines. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. This is great. Can we move on to the second question, please?
Yes, the second question is, what do you believe has caused this ongoing discrimination, and what steps can we take as a society to change this?
I think
Just a little bit louder, please.
Oh, sorry. I think the education systems in schools, they're not really taught how to some people aren't really taught how to handle things, and some people aren't really taught that certain things are wrong. Like when I was in grade 8, someone said something to me, and obviously he wasn't well educated on the matter, and I haven't really talked to this person in a while, and I don't really think he still understands like the severity of what he said.
Thank you for being vulnerable, Danielle.
And also to add to what Daniela said, not just the educational system, but I believe that like ignorance in general is like one of the reasons why we still have discriminations. Because personally, I believe that no one is born a racist. No one is right from birth born a racist, or no one just becomes a racist. Like I just wake up a day and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and bully people who are Black. It doesn't just happen. It's gradually. It's because of like the society in which you live in. It's because of the people you surround yourself in. It's because of the things you listen to. Those are the kind of things that kind of shape the idea or the perspective that you have of other people. And I feel like one of the ways that we can step up as a society is like to create some type of awareness or education. Education doesn't always have to be like, or in school in a sitting setting or with books or like textbooks. No, it doesn't really have to be that. But just like exactly what we're doing right now, having something that can be entertaining, but as well educating at the same time. Because you might say something and feel like, well, I didn't say anything wrong, did I? But you actually did say something wrong. So by enlightening people around you, don't just be a bystander, don't say it's none of your business, then you're actually making a step. And finally, one of the things that I would like people to have at the back of their mind, like questions that I would like people to have at the back of their mind, like, you know, the way we had like this Blackouts Tuesday on Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, where everyone posts like a Black page in support of Black Lives Matter. Ask yourself, like, did I post that because everyone is doing it? Or did I post it because I actually mean it? Because I believe that Black lives do matter? Am I doing it just because it's in vogue? Or am I doing it because I actually truly support it? And ask yourself, are you doing things because you want to feel better about yourself, or because you're hoping that the people who are victimized again feel better, are treated better? So if we keep that kind of questions in our mind, we're basically taking steps. It might seem like a very tiny step, but it makes a difference, because nothing is going to change if you don't change something. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
I'm really with Timmy on that too, and just like very briefly, because I'm Latin, and I grew up always translating for my parents, my family, because I didn't speak English. And I remember getting questions like, oh, well, what are you? And I'd say I'm Canadian because I'm born here, and I was told I was Canadian, and I'd be told, well, no, you're not. Like, what are you? And I started to realize like, oh, well, I guess my skin is white enough in the winter that I pass. as a white person and I can be okay. But in the summer, I get dark and I'm looked at and I'm questioned, and it's so strange. And I remember being with someone and they said, "Oh, so you're Latin. How do you say this?" And we were in an Italian restaurant. And I said, "Well, I don't speak Italian. I'm from South America." And he goes, "Well, it's the same thing. You guys have such a masochist culture. How do you deal with it?" And I was like, "Okay, I don't think that I do." And it was just a very insulting conversation. And I tried to correct him, and sometimes they don't get it. And some people are from small towns and they don't always get to see the discrimination firsthand. But I think it's very important that as soon as a moment arises where I can say, "You know what, you're a little confused," or you have a moment to have a conversation, even if it's uncomfortable, it's something. It really is something. And as long as someone thinks about it, the next time that person goes and says, "Latinos are this," hopefully he thinks, "You know what, I was actually really offensive the last time I told someone that, and I should take a pause."
Thank you.
I also think that some people, they kind of choose not to listen. With the situation that I was in, I kept on trying to explain to him what this person was saying, and he just kept on saying, "Oh, well, no, it's not. It's not offensive." Or da, 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 da. So what happened was I had my natural hair out, and he called my head broccoli head, and so yeah, he called me broccoli head, and I was like, "Dude, you can't say that." And he was like, "No, it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with it." And I talked to him again after class at the lockers, and he still couldn't get it. So yeah, I just think he just didn't want to get it because some people are uncomfortable with being told that certain things that they say are hurtful, and some people put themselves in a mindset that they can't be hurtful, and when you actually try to explain to them that they can be, it's so hard for them to understand.
Thank you very much. Vulnerability is a sometimes difficult thing, but if we're listening and we're actually being sincere about how we can, appreciate other people with empathy, then we can create a relationship of solidarity. And one of the things that I appreciate in the work that I do is I get to listen to young folk all the time. It's actually really empowering. Instead of hearing a Warren Clark talking about how to be an anti-racist or how to focus on anti-oppression frameworks, and most of my work that I do, I get the opportunity to listen to the vulnerability of the young folks who actually teach me a few things. And I trust that what we've heard a moment ago from these young people and from those in the audience are things we can use and apply to our own lives. So without further ado, and thank you very much for your patience, and I apologize for the technical difficulties, and we're going to move on to the second play. So the second play is called Code 55, and Agape will be introducing Agape, or starting us off. Thank you. So please put yourself on mute, folks. Everybody now is a co-host, so we fixed that problem. So please have yourself on mute, and please select speaker view in the top right hand of your corner. Thank you very much.
All right, so my name is Agape Venus Williams, and I'm from St. Matthew Catholic High School, and I'm in grade 12, and today I will be the narrator.
Hi, I'm Ava from St. Peter's Catholic High School, and I'll be playing Taylor as staff.
Hi, my name's Edwina. I'm from Carleton University, and I will be playing Kyle today.
Hi, I'm Fatima. I'm from Carleton University, and I'll be playing the manager.
Hi, my name is Paige. I'm from Carleton University, and I'll be playing Emily.
Hi, my name is Soleil. I'm from Carleton University, and I'll be playing Bree.
Hi, my name is Nanda, but you can call me Dave from short. I'm in grade 9 at Sacred Heart, and I'll be playing Steph Amy.
All right, so the first scene starts at a staff meeting. In an alternate universe far, far away, a staff meeting takes place at the Vibe Close. The staff members gather together before store opening and have a team meeting.
Good morning, staff. We're hoping to make a lot of sales today. Remember to always greet customers with intent feet of you and address any of their needs. Are there any questions before we start our day?
This isn't a question, but I would like to address that yesterday there was a white female who was roaming around the store. She left a couple of times. She seemed pretty sketchy.
What made you feel that she was sketchy?
It was just the vibe.
Okay, well, in that scenario, we must remember to approach the customer and ask if we may address any of their needs. Let's be sure to keep close but not too close, and let's keep 10 feet away at all times.
But what if we know that they're stealing or like a suspect?
In that case, we must make sure to communicate to one another that there's a code 55 in the store.
What's code 55?
So code 55 is used when we see someone who's suspicious or we think they're likely to steal. This lets the staff members know that we must keep an eye out for that particular individual. Make sure to describe the individual over the headset and what they're wearing so we know who to keep an eye out for.
The staff members then got up and began their shift. Second scene. The staff is floating around. The day is looking really good. They started strong and they were going to hit the hour target. But not long after that, the staff came across a speedboat. Kyle walks in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let us know if you need anything. And just a reminder, we're having a 30% off sale on all clearance items.
Oh, wow. Sounds great. Thank you.
Another customer of the day walks in and Taylor and Bree start whispering.
Oh, look, there's a customer.
You go ahead and greet them.
I already approached a customer. You can do this one.
Okay, fine.
Bree then approaches Emily.
Hey, so what are you shopping for today?
Oh, nothing in particular. I'm just looking around for now.
One sec. Okay. Added.
Emily walks away. Taylor and Bree then share a look. Bree approaches Taylor.
I think we should call it code 55.
Bree then agrees and they mention it through the headset.
Hey, staff members, there's a code 55 in the store, aisle 3. She's a blonde, white female wearing a black sweater. She just seems to be putting a lot of items in her cart. Just looking a little suspicious. Just make sure we keep an extra eye out for her.
Okay, I've got it. I'm near the customer.
Taylor then approaches the customer.
Hi there. Are you finding everything okay? Would you like me to take your items and put them in the fitting room for you?
No, thank you. I'm actually still looking around.
All right. By the way, I love your hair. It's so straight.
Taylor starts to run her fingers through Emily's hair.
Did she just touch my hair? Can you please not touch my hair?
Emily walks away and starts to wonder if they're just being friendly or if she's actually experiencing microaggression. Third scene, fitting room. Emily works her way through the store as staff members keep a close watch on her. When she starts to walk around, she decides to make her way down to the fitting room, and through headset, staff 1 says,
Code 55 is heading down the aisle towards the fitting room.
Okay, I'll make sure to check the items when she arrives.
Hi, I would like to try on these items, please.
Amy grabs the items from Paige and Emily.
All right, no problem. I just need to count the items.
Amy makes sure to check the pockets of the items to ensure that there is nothing concealed in them, as customer 2 looks at them very annoyed.
Is everything okay? I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like I'm receiving poor customer service. I don't see you guys searching any other customers like this.
Amy awkwardly laughs.
Oh no, ma'am, it's just vertigo. Just follow me right this way and I will show you right to your fitting room.
Okay, sure.
Emily grabs the items from Amy and walks into the fitting room.
All right, thank you.
As Emily begins to try on her clothes, she starts to replay her experience. She begins to feel frustrated, but realizes that if she were to make a complaint, then she would probably be disregarded for, or maybe even forced out of the store. As time progresses, she begins to feel quite upset and helpless. So she collects her belongings and approaches Emily.
Hi, I'll be taking these 5 items and I'll be leaving this.
Okay, I will just have to check the items again.
Emily looks annoyed and disappointed.
This is unbelievable. Are you serious?
Like I said, it's just vertigo.
As Emily sighs in annoyance, she looks over to her left and notices customer 1, Kyle, sneaking a perfume in his bag. She looks over at the staff member who searched through her item and says,
I just saw him steal. Are you going to do anything about that?
Well, I didn't see anything and we can't accuse.
Amy hands Emily the items and Emily grabs the items and walks away. Amy then grabs the headset and says,
Hey guys, Code 55 is heading out the aisle. Please make sure she doesn't attempt to grab anything on her way out.
That's good. Okay.
Fourth scene, cashing out. Emily makes her way up to the cash. As she's walking, she feels as if all eyes are on her. She could not be any more anxious, but she assures herself to keep her head held high. She approaches the cashier.
Hi there. Will this be all for today?
The manager then speaks through the headset.
Hey Bree, make sure to check all the items and ensure that there's nothing stuffed in the pockets. Also make sure she hasn't switched any price tickets by looking at your computer.
Yes, we'll do.
As Bree continues to check out Emily, she makes sure that she is thorough in her process as she's being monitored over by her manager. On the other hand, Emily is starting to get frustrated as she's watching other customers check out a lot quicker. However, she manages to be patient.
Okay, ma'am, here you go. Have a nice day.
As Emily makes her way out, a group of individuals exit the store, including Kyle. The store panel goes off and startles the customers. Taylor then approaches Emily and disregards the other customers.
Sorry, ma'am, we'd like to check your bag and maybe your purse. Maybe something slipped in there.
Emily stood there speechless, but complied with their request. However, she was perplexed by what she was experiencing.
Excuse me, this is not okay. Can you please explain to me why you're checking my bags and not the first customers who left the store already?
Ma'am, I'm really sorry you feel that way, but it's just protocol. You want to make sure you got all the items you wanted, and I also don't want you leaving with a sensor and going through the trouble of having to come back.
So what's the protocol for people who are actually stealing? I saw a customer of a different race put something in his bag in the fitting room and I mentioned it and I was told that your protocol doesn't allow for you to accuse people. Yet the entire time I've been here, I've been followed around. It certainly feels like an accusation. I think you need to revisit your protocols and make sure that they aren't discriminatory or reproducing any unconscious biases.
As I mentioned previously, I'm just doing my job and so are my employees. This is simply a loss prevention protocol.
After that encounter, Emily returns her items and vows to never return back to the store. In a perfect world, the manager would be quick to change the protocol. They would have implemented semi-annual workshops to discuss the issues of racial profiling and discrimination. The basis of the scene is not to draw light on reverse racism, but rather to illustrate how one would feel if the oppressor were to be oppressed. This form of discrimination has been experienced by Black women in mainstream society. So we just have a few questions here that we'd like you to think about. And the first question is going to be, how did the role reversal make you feel? Where the white woman was being oppressed rather than the Black woman in most situations.
It reminded me of like, I see this a lot on social media when like a Black woman says something and then there's some people in the comment like, well, if the roles were reversed, and then they're just like talking and talking. And it's just like the roles are reversed. These are literal things that we go through. And it's sort of like, it's interesting to see it from the other, point of view. I feel like hopefully people will see that it is not helpful in a way because, touching someone's hair and like without their permission is really weird. And so it's just like, I hope it's a wake-up call to people saying that if this was done to you, you wouldn't be okay with it, so you shouldn't be okay with doing it to other people.
Yeah, and to add to what she just said, I always tell people that if you're tired of hearing about Black Lives Matter, or if you're fed up about Black Lives Matter, then have you ever taken, or you're fed up about hearing about anti-racism or racism, have you ever taken a time to like just sit down and try to think about the people who are actually experiencing racism? Have you ever kind of thought about their point of view? Have you thought about like how they feel? If you're tired of hearing about it on social media and in real life situations, did you ever even think about the people who are actually experiencing it? Did you think about how they feel? So looking at this role reversal play, I felt that people need this. So I really found it like interesting, and it made a fact, like it made a statement. So I feel like through that role reversal play, people can now kind of maybe not, obviously you can't understand what people go through unless you're actually in their shoes, but this play helps people kind of like understand what's going on. So yeah, I'm just really glad that there was a play like this, like the role reversal. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I really agree with both Mariatu's and Tayo's thoughts. Like, if you're tired of hearing about it, like, imagine how we feel, you know? Like, we're tired of experiencing. So if there's not any more concerns or thoughts, then I'll move on to the second question, which is, have you ever experienced any other microaggressions while shopping?
I personally have experienced microaggressions while shopping. I remember one time I went into a shoe store, soft mock, with my mom, and the security guard was following me. And at first, I really thought it was in my head. Like, I didn't want to say anything to make it like, you know, I don't want to accuse someone of following me if they're not. But at the same time, like, you have to go with your instincts. And then I said, like, excuse me, like, are you following me? Like, your job is not to follow me. And I really don't know if it was like a translation miscommunication, but she actually turned to me and said, yes, my job is to follow you. And then I went to, like, me and my mom got so upset. I went to the manager, and the manager's like, oh, we're so sorry, we're going to speak to her, this and that. And I just thought that was crazy. And I also feel like it's so weird because lots of Black hair stores are run by people who are not Black. They are run by Asian people. And as soon as you go into the hair store, like, even like 2 or 3 people, their eyes are on you, like you're in there to steal. You're buying Black products for Black hair, and, you know, instead of worrying about your customer experience, they're more worried about what you're going to shove in your bag. And no one steals from the hair store, absolutely nobody. So that's always, you know, anytime I see someone following me, I'm like, you know, can I help you? Is everything okay? Yeah,
So I had an experience as well. This one didn't actually happen to me, happened to my mom, but I was with her. We went to the store together and she wanted to buy like this nice shoe or something. And then the shoe owner like came to my mom personally and was asking, that shoe is quite expensive. Are you sure you have enough money to buy that? In my mind, I was like, whoa, what the heck? You can't just barge up to people and just like ask them if they have enough money to buy that. Like, you just because of the way they look doesn't mean you can judge them or you can like predict how much money they have or something. I was really pissed, but then my mom was like, well, yeah, of course I have the money, because if I don't, I won't be in this store. And I was in my mind, I was just like, period. That's the response that store owner deserved. And my mom got 2 peers, and yeah, she was like, anyways, you don't judge people based on their appearance, okay? I have the money and that's why I'm here. And I just looked at my mom and I said, yes, mom, period. So yeah, but that was just really annoying to witness.
And to kind of add to what you said, there was like a story a few years back, like I think 2013 or 2014, just to show you how it's actually discrimination. Oprah Winfrey went into like a store in Switzerland, and she went to buy a purse, and then they were like racially discriminating against her. Like, I think the purse was like $4,000. The purse was like, I don't know if it was like $4,000 or something like that. It must have been like expensive. And then the ladies, you know, they were like, oh, like, can you afford that? Like, I guess they didn't recognize like who she was. And it was like a really big news story.
Can I
Just
add? Can I add?
Oh.
Something? Is it? Can we also say it's racism and sexism going on?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, like,
Can you pull out?
oh, wait, can I talk?
Okay. We'll take one more question and then, or one more response. Agapi, go ahead, please.
Okay, so Temmie's, when she was talking about her mom being kind of racially profiled at the store, that reminded me of when I was with the store with my mother, and basically like my mom has a strong African accent, right? Like, I'm Nigerian and we all have like strong African accents there. So the way she was talking to the person, she was like, I guess that kind of made him feel like, oh, she was less and that she wasn't like able to speak for herself and stuff like that. So like his attitude was horrible towards my mother, and I was getting really mad. Like she would just be asking a simple question and then he would be like yelling, like saying, how can you not understand, how can you not? And I'm like, damn, like wow, you really do this. But he wouldn't treat the other white individuals like that. He would just treat my mother because she's Black, she has a thick African accent. And then I remember we were brought into this room because we just wanted to go away from everyone else. And my mom asked this question. I don't really remember what it was, but she asked a question. And the way that he raised his voice at my mom, I was just like, no, that's it. I'm not gonna, because I can't just let my mom be attacked like that, right? Like I don't, she could stand up for herself, but like she shouldn't have to when she's just trying to like buy an item from the store. So I started yelling at him back. And then once he realized that, oh, I can't do this, I was just like, he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to do that. And I was like, is it because we're Black? Is it because we're Black? Because you didn't treat anyone else like this. And then he was like, no, I'm so sorry about that. Da, 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 da. And then at the end of the day, he actually gave us the item for free. So I was like, okay. So it's just like made me think like, oh, like, that's really affecting me because I don't want my mother to have to go into a store and then like have people speak down to her or think of her lower than them just because like she comes from Africa and she still has that accent. So I didn't like that at all. But yeah, I think that's it for the question. We have one more, but I don't know if we'll
Can I say something, please? Can I add to that, please?
Let's go ahead.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure some of you know me. What I want to add to this discussion is definitely we know that this is a thing. We all know this. If we take a survey, probably all of us will have had one experience about this at one instance or the even multiple, a lot. It's a common experience, right? So my question to you today is, what are you going to do about it? I remember asking, I remember one of my students who had this hair experience, you know, she got so, I don't know, I think there was this particular experience that actually broke her, right? You know, at the end of the day, it gets to that point where you would say, this is the last straw. I'm not taking this no more. So what she decided to do about it, she decided to put out the business proposal to open a business, a hair salon, right? That will be all inclusive. And then I asked her, why did you decide to make it an all-inclusive, you know, as opposed to Black? She said, I want to show people how they should treat others, you know. And I felt that was remarkable. I felt it was, you know, like it took my breath away. I'm like, good job, girl. Because the fact that you are Black, because I have a son, I've taken him to a salon, and the way the man look at me, it's okay to say, I don't know how to make your hair, or I don't know how to cut this kind of hair. But the way it was said, my goodness. Okay, so when she said, I want to show people how, I felt, you know what, you rock, girl. Okay, so you girls go on. Thank you. Thank you, Warren, for the opportunity to speak.
No, thank you. Nandy, do you want to have the last comment? I saw your hand, and then we'll move on.
Oh yeah, thank you. I was just wanting to add something to what Agape said, like about the like us going to star incidents and everything, and it was just like a conversation that I have had like with my dad like a lot of time, because it's like something that's like inevitable, like when you walk into a store, like as a Black person, like you're gonna experience it. But he was basically just telling me that we have this well, not us, but society has this mentality, even racism in social injustice is still happening, and people were enslaved for a lot of years ago, and you can still see enslavement in some part of the world today. But the thing is, we still have that stereotype or mentality stuck in us that, oh, like as soon as we walk into a store as a Black person, we're just gonna steal. And it's, even if it's not accurate, but that's how society already perceive us. So we don't get this chance to prove like ourselves or like who we are, because the mentality that they have of us is already like stuck on them, and they try to perceive that onto we. And even if we try to reverse it and tell them that no, actually this is not right, and it's just the way how they perceive you, and they're ignorant to to be willing to have an open conversation or honest conversation about it and just accept the fact that yes, this is inaccurate and it's just stereotypes that from the past that we're still carrying on. It's we as Black people was free because I get so annoyed that whenever I face social injustice at school or at the store, but my dad keep on telling me it's like us as Black people, we know that we are free, but like you need to free your mind because if you just let them walk into your life and tell you who you are, it's not good for you. Because the story I normally use the story of the elephant to this, like when they're training an elephant, they tie the food to the trunk of the tree, and even when they grow up and they have the strength to get far away from the tree, they still have this mentality that, oh, like I can't move the tree, when actually they can be able to move not only the tree or lose themselves from the tree, but also take up the trunk. So we have to like free our own mind from it, because if we just say, oh, social injustice, it's wrong, and we try to tell them, we have to be willing to know that there are ignorant people out there and they're not going to take our word because what they have been hearing about us or what they think about us is accurate. So they're just going to try to perceive and push that mentality in us. But we actually have to free our mind and just let it go and say, that's the way how they perceive us. We know that that's not who we are. That's just society replaying history. They don't want to learn from history and move forward. Yeah, that's just what I had to say.
Thank you, Mandy. Appreciate that.
I just wanted Mrs. Graham had a question before.
Hi, you can call me Marianne. That's fine. I'm a teacher at Holy Trinity, and I was part of the Black Student Forum, just sitting in and listening, and I feel it's a real privilege and a fantastic opportunity for these kinds of dialogues that I, of course, as a white person, as a white, suburban mom, I don't have these conversations. So I really feel, really grateful for the vulnerability and the honesty everybody is sharing. I have a question. In the play, the first play, and in some of the stories there, when you are treated that way and then you want to still purchase that item, is there a moral dilemma or some sort of, push of, I don't really want to give money to this company who's treating me this way, but I also want those awesome shoes. So how does that get how do people deal with that? How is that resolved?
Oh yeah, for sure. I can say something real quick. I feel like when someone does that to me, it's just like, oh, that's the type of company you are. I don't want to give money to you anymore. Like I'll just walk out of the store and I'll make you think that I'm stealing because I'm just like kind of hard-headed like that. So I definitely, like in an example where I actually got banned from the store. Me and 5 of my friends got banned from the store because the manager thought we were stealing, and they checked the cameras and we weren't stealing. So, but the manager, there was police involved in everything, and they said that if a manager doesn't want you to come back to their store, then you legally cannot come back to their store. And then the manager said that you have to write like an apology or something like that if you want to come back. And I was like, I'm not writing an apology, like it's Dollarama. I don't need to go back to the other, like there's so many. So I'm definitely not gonna write that apology anytime soon. I'll just take my L and move on. So
I feel like
Sorry, 1 second, because we have one more play to go, and what we'll do is because you already started talking, so I'll let you have the last comment, and then we have Jamal the poet who's going to do one more poetry presentation, and we have the last play. So I want to get into that. So we'll reserve the last question. Sorry. This is the moderator in me that has to now steer the conversation, because we don't ever be until 10 o'clock unless to be right. So Soleil will get the last comment and then we'll move on. Thank you.
I was gonna say, I think realistically, like when it's like situations like that, it can it's like systematic. So it's not like a problem that gets like addressed right away. Like this is something that we're gonna have to work on as a society to kind of change our mindsets. I feel like when it's happened to me in the past, depending on who the manager is and how extensive, sometimes they try to settle the situation by saying, here's an extra 10% off.
And it's like, you don't want to give your money to this company, but then you basically, it's at the same time, it's like you need certain things. And it's basically like, we're feeding into this like giant system, but we have to do it until we're able to change it. So right now, how I see it is that regardless if they try to say like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I apologize, like, here's 10% off because, we, profiled you. I feel like all of those are just kind of like it's just kind of like not to really draw attention to the main problem. It's kind of just to like, kind of like hide like what's currently going on, I guess. I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. So again, we'll reserve time at the end if you want to, if there's more comments. I know Shayla and I think Fatima had their hands up. So let's get through the rest of the presentation, please, and then we can reserve more time. So before we do that, we have a poetry presentation from Jamal the Poet. Please welcome Jamal the Poet back to the stage, virtual stage, mind you. Thank you.
Wow. I've been listening and watching, and I'm thankful that we have an evening to hold space for these stories, these narratives, these expressions. I thank you, young people, for doing the work. Again, you're going down a journey that is not an easy one, and I commend you. And I want to remind you to know that you don't have to live in that space every single day. You can find time for yourself, so that you can take a breather from the tremendous work that it is to, one, just be a person, that has to live these experiences every day, because there's that too, as well as a person who's decided to make change through their actions and words. So I'm going to deliver a poem called Gratitude. I was going to finish the piece that I had started, titled We Are Angry. But maybe it's a long piece. It's an 8-minute piece. It's a 9-minute piece. And I wrote it for 9 minutes because George Floyd, there was pressure placed on his neck for 9 minutes. And of course, anybody knows if you get pressure placed on your neck for a minute, you pass out. 9 minutes, there's no coming back from that. So I wrote a poem that was 9 minutes in honor of George Floyd, but we don't have that time. This poem's called Gratitude, and it's about the privilege that certain people don't understand they have to make change. And instead, using your privilege as kind of like a weapon. Privilege can be weaponized sometimes. And there was a moment when I was sitting in a cafe and I was listening to an artist perform, and she was pleasant and her work was great. But when she started talking about these cottages that her parents own in the Algonquin forest, when she started talking about that, I realized she wasn't reading the room. The room was mainly people of color. They had indigenous folks in there. And she was bragging about how her family has owned land, property, and cottages in the Algonquin forest for generations. I was like, cool, but let me write this poem and get up on this open mic. So I wrote a poem while she was performing, and I performed it after her. The poem is called Gratitude. It goes like this. This poem is not sewn with needle and yarn. It is weaved between the scars of a ghetto child's backyard. I wish I could tell you that this poem was knitted on the porch of a log cabin overlooking acres of sacred free man's land, handed down through generations of privilege and traded like the good deeds of fair treaties. But this poem was stitched on the backs of broken natives, beaten into the psyche of modern-day Black men with eyes that are still wet from drowning in debt, and their mothers, daughters, sisters, and wives are scratching their heads, wondering where all the good Black men went. This poem does not offer service or salvation. It only offers the reminder of colonization, a reminder that emancipation only comes to those who can afford to sacrifice their soul, who march to the tune of what they are told, who hold on to a faith that isn't theirs. I have long looked into the space where joy, creation, and love exist, and I have come to find that if we do not defeat ignorance and arrogance, there is no such place. Only a heaven can provide such bliss on the days I feel confident about an afterlife. That is, there is only the fallacy that paradise can be purchased by turning another person's life into misery, making sure that to maintain the status of supremacy, the rest of humanity must suffer endlessly. You see, I will never be in the 1%. Nor do I fall in the greater 99, for my spirit knows my greatness, but the elite won't let me fly, and still subjects me to the state of an animal, because to the state I am treated lesser than an animal, a flightless creature, an optimist that believes that I can achieve my dreams as long as I fight for my peace and die trying to find the keys to my freedom in the meantime. I will listen to the songs sung by the dead. Remember the words of my father ringing through my head, and allow for now that white woman sitting in the cafe, knitting her sweater as if she knows better, watching the songstress serenade the stage with stories of cabins that belonged to her foreparents for generations in the Algonquin forests. I will allow them to be undisturbed. But when I start running and finally shed myself of my fear to be pharaoh, no longer peasant, I will have my kingdom, and the sorrow of pitiful servitude will only be for those whose arrogance destined them to a life of bitterness, and who for the life of them could never sow gratitude.
Thank you so much, Jamal.
Much love. Thank you.
You so much. You know, powerful stuff, Jamal. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. You know, we need to have more of you at these events. We need you. Thank you for what you do. So, folks, we're on to our last presentation, but this presentation comes with a gift. Yes, it does. Stay tuned, because you can win a $50 gift card. Yes, you didn't know this event was coming with gifts. Yes, it does. You too can win a $50 gift card after watching this presentation. So this presentation is called Mr. D's Gym Class. And again, there'll be a question period time, and we'll try to save some time to continue the conversation, and then we'll close after the question period or the conversation. Thank you. Please give it up for Mr. D's Gym Class. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Cassie. I'm one of the Carleton students. Our group is actually formed of only Carleton University students. But yeah, my name is Cassie, and I'm going to be the narrator, and I'm also going to be playing Karen today.
Also, folks, please put yourself in speaker view on the top right-hand corner. Sorry, thank you.
My name's Allison. I'll be playing Sam today.
Hey, my name is Mark Anthony. I'm playing Chad.
Hi, my name is Parker, and I'll be playing Eric and also Mr. Bob.
Hi, my name is Kiana, and I will be playing Tiffany.
Hi, my name is Allie, and I'll be playing Grace.
I'm Abiola. I'll be playing Bennett.
Hi, and I'm Reese, and I'll be playing Mr. D.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to get started. Our opening scene is going to be opening in a high school gym, and the bell rings to begin. The period begins and students are changing for gym class. Sam is already in the gym wearing gym clothes. Students walk out of the locker room, and everyone notices that Sam didn't use the gendered change rooms to change.
Happy Monday, everyone. Let's gather up. This week is fitness testing week.
Not again. I hate this so much.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, not this again.
You seriously have to do this again?
Wait, what's fitness testing week?
It's this competition where everyone competes to be the best at literally nothing.
Yeah, you need to do it well as a boy or a girl, or everyone makes fun of you.
Wait, the boys and girls are separated?
No complaining. We're starting with the beep test. All the boys on the black line. Girls can watch by the wall.
All the girls move to the wall, and all the boys move to the line. Sam panics and doesn't move. People begin to notice and stare.
Just pick a group already.
Yeah, come on, freak.
Hey, shut up.
Sam, what group do you want to go with?
I don't really feel comfortable with either group.
So as I talked about earlier, we're going to have the option for everyone to choose their own adventure. So that means we're going to actually have you, the audience, vote on what you want to happen with this play. So option 1 is that everyone's going to do the beep test at the same time. And option 2 is that the teacher is going to decide where Sam goes. So if you want option 1, where everyone does the test at the same time, I'm going to get everyone to use the reactions and use the clapping emoji for option 1, and then use the thumbs up emoji for option 2. So again, option 1, everyone does the test at the same time, that's clap. Option 2, the teacher is going to decide where they go, and that is the thumbs up emoji. And I'll give everyone a second to vote. All right, just scrolling through. Okay, I'm seeing more clap emojis. So we're gonna go with option 1, where everyone does the test at the same time, and we're gonna get started.
Let's just have everyone run together. Let's not make a big deal.
Okay, fine. Everyone on the line, you're all running at the same time.
The students start to gather at the line.
Thanks, Sam. Now we have to run with the boys.
No way, I don't want to run with the freak.
I'm gonna have everyone vote again. This time I'm not gonna tell you what happens. I'm just gonna have you choose between 1 or 2. So again, for option 1, you're gonna do the clap emoji, and for option 2, you're gonna do the thumbs up emoji. I'm not gonna tell you what happens, but I'm just gonna give you a second to vote. All right, this time I'm seeing a way more thumbs up emojis, so we're gonna go with option or ending 2.
Why? Are you scared they'll kick your butt?
Yeah, I'm the only winner of this beep test.
Take it down a notch, big guy.
Mr. Bob notices the conflict and comes over to intervene.
What's the problem here? I don't want to run with someone who doesn't know what gender they are. That was way out of line.
Mr. Bob waves Mr. D over.
What's the issue?
Why don't you explain why you don't want to run with Sam?
He didn't say anything wrong. Mr. D takes Karen and Eric aside to talk to them, while Mr. Bob stays with Sam and the allies.
Are you okay? That was totally out of line.
Yeah, I'm okay. I just wish they wouldn't get so worked up over this. It shouldn't concern them. I wish they would just accept me more. I feel like if I could talk about this, if I can explain my situation better, they'd all understand.
Thanks for being vulnerable. I'll make sure this is taken care of. If you want, we can address this with the class.
I think that would be helpful.
All right, Sam, let's do this.
Now Mr. D confronts Eric and Karen.
So what was that about?
I don't know what you're talking about. I said nothing wrong.
Just speaking the facts.
Either tell me the problem or you both the problem you both have, or I'm giving you a slip.
The problem is that Sam doesn't know which group to run with.
Yeah, Sam should clearly just go with the girls.
Okay, first of all, it doesn't matter what group Sam goes with. Second of all, you both need to smarten up and you realize we don't need to fit in a certain role. This doesn't affect you in any way.
But it does affect me because I have to run with them.
We live in a world where people are free to make decisions about their identity. That includes gender. So you need to understand that this is a personal choice and does not affect or concern you.
Mr. Bob waves the entire class over so that way everyone's together.
Hey class, Sam has something they'd like to share with you all.
Thanks, Mr. Bob. I know a lot of you may not understand me, and you never will understand me, but for me, being non-binary means I have the ability to be me without conforming to societal norms. It means if I feel like waking up in the morning and spiking my hair, I can do that. Being non-binary gives me gender freedom that society tries to deny us on the basis of gender conformity.
That still doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to you because you've grown up to society's script of the gender role that you were assigned at birth because you hold that privilege.
Wait, so what bathroom do you use?
Dad, why does that even matter?
Well, that's another example of how I'm not included in how the world's not designed for me.
Wait, there's no gender neutral washroom?
Yeah, that's why I have to wear my shorts all day under my pants. I have nowhere to change.
Did it not concern you that Sam was singled out?
I never thought about it.
That's because you don't have to.
You're right. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. I'll make sure to bring this up with Mr. D.
Thank you.
Now, can we just run?
At the end of the gym class, the students reflect on the events that occurred during the beep test. This was an educational moment for everybody in that class. Sam let themselves be vulnerable, and this allowed the students to be able to check their privilege and their invisible knapsack. Sam's classmates learned about the gender binary and what happens when you don't fit into that binary. We got to see how the school system may not account for gender variance and how that affects not just the trans students, but everybody. Everyone was able to listen and understand what Sam feels and experiences. In this situation, everyone worked together to better understand Sam and give them the accommodations that they needed. And that's the end of our scene. Thank you all so much for listening, and we hope that you enjoyed our little play. If you'd like to add any input or participate with us, we are offering a giveaway, as Warren mentioned. We're giving away a $50 dinner gift card. And we do have a few questions for you, but only if you're comfortable with participating. There's no pressure. The questions are, what were your thoughts or concerns after listening to our script, and how did that make you feel?
Can you ask the question again so someone didn't have their cell phone mute? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So what were your thoughts or concerns after listening to our script, and how did it make you feel?
I can say something. Yeah, for me, it definitely made me feel like I'm not the only problem, or I'm not the only person with problems in this world. Like, it definitely opened up my eyes to, like, as a Black woman, there's also like people of other ethnicities who are also struggling, just like I am, with not being accepted in society. And yeah, I think it was a really good play though. I like it.
Thank you so much for sharing.
For me, I think it just kind of, I don't know what the word is, but it just made it more clear how our world was designed for one group of people and not for the many groups of people that it has now. It's very diverse now. Well, especially like Western society, it's very diverse now, and Western society wasn't really designed for it to be diverse. It was designed for a group of people to stay up and for everyone else to stay down. And now that, and it just kind of makes me happy that more people are kind of rising up. That sounds really weird, but yeah, like rising up to the level of importance that they deserve.
Yeah, that's so true. Definitely, like, certain people are prioritized and have power in society compared to other people.
I also have something to say. I found that your play really like highlights intersectionality. Like, people are always people have their own battles, no matter what their race is. There is, based on like the systems that we have in our society, there is something oppressing someone. And it's important to always keep that in mind, because when you meet someone, it's not like at first sight that you will know, oh, this person is this person is that. Like, you can't tell that at first sight. So it's important to like respect people, be kind. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too. And we said that in our ending, in our kind of brief dialogue at the end, with like the invisible knapsack people wear. So some people hold privileges in that backpack that you don't see. And then some people do, and especially if they have like intersections of race and gender and sexuality, those can be kind of dually oppressive. So I agree with what your comment there.
And I think your play also did like a good job on touching on like the subject matter of intersectionality, and also that like when you talk about things like gender and sexuality, I think that like from previous years, like we've grown up like looking at it as such like a traditional like boy girl kind of like closed in, like only two options. And that's like what we've learned like as children. And I feel like now, like as society progresses and times are changing, people are starting to realize that, hey, like if you don't want to, you can't put people in designated boxes if that's not what they want. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like earlier on, if you were to say this in like 2003, like heads would turn, like this would not be okay, you know? But I feel like now people are more open to it, especially, and more open to the fact that like how people identify themselves, like gender wise or, you know, sexuality, it doesn't affect you. Like how like Jenny, you know, decides to say her sexuality, it doesn't affect me in my daily life. So it shouldn't be like I shouldn't be so consumed with how she identifies, because how she chooses to identify or to not just does not affect me at all.
Yeah, so truthfully. Thank you. We're going to move on to our second question now. So it's kind of more general. We talked a lot about gender roles. So we wanted to ask what some examples of gender roles that you folks have experienced. So yeah, just in general, like ways in which that you feel society may have forced you to play out a certain gender role.
I can speak for specifically in like African households. If you're like the oldest daughter, you're basically a second mom. Like your childhood ends so early and you have to like pick up so many responsibilities. Like I was even talking about my mom, like we're joking about how like sometimes this is stereotypical, but like how white parents leave like cute notes and what's it called, and like their kids like a lunchbox saying like have an amazing day. And I was talking, I'm like, I was making our lunches for me and my younger brother. I didn't know what was supposed to go in lunches. And so like stuff like that, doing laundry for at like 8, doing dishes, doing all this stuff, mopping, making each other's beds. It's just like, I know that especially in African households, you have to grow up really, really fast if you're a girl, especially the oldest girl. So yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. I'm not the oldest. I'm actually the youngest daughter, but I'm always asked to do more household things, and they're asked to like mow the lawn and like shovel snow, but I still shovel snow anyways. But I'm always asked to either to clean or cook. Like my mom, she teaches me and only me how to cook, but sometimes when my brother's downstairs, like in the kitchen, she'd be like, "Oh, look at this," and then he will go because he doesn't want to learn it. But I don't kind of have that option. She'd be like, "No, no, no, come back and like listen, watch. You have to boil this and do that." I'm the first person to kind of teach like how to live, like you know. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I also wanted to. Sorry,
it's okay.
No, you can go. You can go. I just wanted to add on like what both girls have said on like being the firstborn in like an African household. I'm the firstborn, but in my house we're like all girls. I have friends that have boys, and I'm telling you, the struggle is way too real. Like boys in African households are babied. Like it's like it's so ridiculous. And sometimes I just think about it and I'm like, what if I want to learn how to mow the lawn instead? I don't want to do the dishes. Like, why do I have to do the dishes? Why can't you do the dishes? And it just, when I see like my friends who have brothers and like their families, I really sit down and I'm like, these boys would not survive a day by themselves. Like, you really can't do anything for yourself. It's embarrassing. I feel like they should be embarrassed. They are not, but they should be. That's it.
I want to comment too, because I'm Italian, and in my household, my mom and I have 2 sisters. They kind of ran the show, and yeah, it was similar to what you're all saying. Is that my oldest sister was essentially my second. I hated her when I was growing up because she was like my second mom, but that was kind of like the norm. And then I saw that with my cousins. I saw that all across Italy. Like that was just kind of like the cultural norm. But it's funny that like especially in Western culture, you typically, I guess you see like women cooking, men working, and kind of like that gender divide. And there's always, people sometimes classify certain roles for gender. And in my household, like my dad cooks, my mom cooks, my dad cleans, my mom cleans. I mean, the boys do the same things as the girls do. And it's kind of, it just goes to show that there's no need for division. There's no need for certain roles for some people to fill. So I thought that'd be interesting to note on.
My brothers would. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh, okay. I'll make it quick then. I'm just saying that it would be way better if my mom would call on my brothers instead of me first. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with my mom calling on me to like do some chores. Like that's just, I guess, my job to do chores. But I'm kind of the first person that she thinks about. I'm the first name that's being called, even though like I would be doing something and my brothers would be playing video games and I would be upstairs in my room and I'd be called all the way down from my room when my brothers are playing video games right next to her in the living room. And I just kind of see them playing video games and then she calls me and then it's kind of like annoying. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you so much to everyone for sharing. Sorry, we're running out of time, so I am gonna have to interject here. But I really appreciate everyone's comments, and yeah, I find, especially as women, like we're always, you know, forced into these roles as well. I mean, people are put into gender roles, but I find for a woman, it's a lot more, yeah, like we're oppressive and restrictive. But we are going to do a giveaway. So I've taken notes of everyone who has spoken, and I'm just gonna put it into a wheel. Sorry, just give me a second.
Who's gonna win?
I don't know.
$1 dinner certificate to maybe Moxie's or Jack Astor's or something. Well, you can order it out. You can't eat there, but you can order, you know, for takeout. You know,
John Curry should win.
Pardon?
John Curry should win.
John Curry. That's
Yes, I second that. John Curry should win.
Well, we'll see. Let's drum roll, please. All right, I'm spinning. And our winner is Daniela. Congratulations, Daniela. Thank you. Yeah, please send your, well, I'm sure Warren has it, but send your email to Warren so he can.
Yes, please email me. Yeah, I won, and then we'll take it from there. And I got you.
All right.
So I'm gonna email. You do not eat free dinner from Warren. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, the ride is coming to an end. This was amazing. Even though we had technical difficulties in the beginning, we made it. And one of the things that I continue and I appreciate these moments is learning from young folk. It makes me young. That's why I look so young, because they feed into my energy. All right, and I'm just joking. Right? No, maybe they do. I don't know. But I appreciate these moments. I appreciate sharing these moments with school boards. This has been an amazing ride. And I trust this will continue one way or another, with or without Warren. These conversations do not need Warren. These conversation needs people to be vulnerable, people to show empathy and create a relationship of solidarity. But I want to give some time for Graham to help close us out. Please, Graham, any closing words?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to all the parents and principals that are on this call. I want to thank Trustee John Curry, who is on the call with us today. I wanted to thank my superintendent, Debbie Keeley, for being on the call, and just all, possibly also our Director of Education, Tom D'Amico, was scheduled to be on here. And I just want to do a shout out to him for his support of equity and diversity. I also want to thank a brand new person to our board that just started this week, and he added so much to this discussion. And Prince Aoro is our new equity advisor, and he joined this call today and added his voice. And I want to thank him for stepping up into this new role and being here tonight. So finally, I want to thank Warren and all the students for this awesome opportunity for us to engage in these important conversations. Thank you for your honesty today, students. You were amazing. I learned so much being involved in this event, and I really, really appreciate this partnership, and I hope it continues going forward. So thanks so much, and have a great night. Stay safe and well for the next little while. Be careful, and thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for sharing your time with us. It's so sad to say bye, but thank you. We will do this again one way or another. Have a good evening.